Hey y'all, today we're going to make French onion soup, and it's really good to eat as a soup when you put it in a little crock and put it in the oven with the bread and the cheese on it, or I love it in any beef recipe where you're going to make a sauce or a gravy. It adds so much flavor, and that's what I'm going to do with the French onion soup I'm making today. Tomorrow is Easter, and I'm going to make a roast, and I'm going to show you how I put it together in another video. But I'm making the French onion soup to go in that, and then what's left I'll freeze to have for other recipes, or I may want to just eat it as soup, so whatever arises I'll have it. So it's very simple to make, but it can be time consuming. So it's not labor intensive, it just takes a while to get it done. So I'll bring you down to our pan, and this is a pretty big pan. And I have used 5 yellow tomatoes that were large, very large. And they are in this bowl. I'm making a lot, as you can tell. You can make less if you want to, but when you put a lot of time in making something like this will be, if you go ahead and make extra and freeze it, you'll be doing yourself a favor. So I've turned the pan on and I'm letting it heat. And for this amount of onion, I'm going to take about 2 tablespoons of butter, and I just got it out of the refrigerator, and I'm going to put that in the pan to let it melt, along with some olive oil, and that's about 2 to 3 tablespoons of olive oil. And just mix that up and stir it around. And I meant to have my pan hot already so this would melt, and I forgot. But this does not take a lot of ingredients aside from the butter and the olive oil and the onions. You just need some thyme and some vegetable broth and chicken broth. And I believe that's it, best I can remember. I might have to go back and look. So now you want to put your onions in. And this is where I cut it up and it still was holding its shape. And you just want to kind of break those up. They'll break apart anyway if you don't want to stand and do it by hand. And the other thing you want to do is put a little salt on it so the salt will help sweat out the onions. And that should be plenty. And so now for the next, probably the next hour, I will turn this down in a minute when I think that it's gotten high enough on probably about number 3 or number 4, medium, a little below medium on the heat. But, excuse me, you'll come back every 10 to 15 minutes and give it a stir. And you're wanting to caramelize this till it's brown and it's mushy and just doesn't look anything like it looks now. And you just keep going back and keep going back, and it will form like a sticky texture on the bottom of your pan. And we will deglaze the pan with the chicken and beef stock. But you're just, right now, all you're wanting to do is just cook your onions down until they're totally caramelized in a nice rich brown color. And I'll cut my heat down to where I told you, a little below medium. And I'll come back and stir this every 10 to 15 minutes until it's ready. And then when it's ready, I'll come back and we'll show you the rest of the process. Our onions have finished caramelizing, and now we're going to go ahead and put the rest of the ingredients in the French onion soup. So here they are, and they look, it doesn't look very appetizing, but I tasted a bite of it, and it is so sweet and good. It's really wonderful. So now we're going to add the chicken broth and the beef broth. And you know, for chicken broth, I always use the, looks like there's a glare, the chicken bouillon. So instead of putting it in the water and then putting it in here, I'm just putting it straight in here. It's really the same difference. So I'm going to put 6 cups of each. So for 6 cups of chicken broth, this looks like a tablespoon and a half of the chicken broth. And then I'm going to use this Tony's beef base. And I'm going to use that much, which looks like a really healthy tablespoon. So I'll get that off. And then, as I said, I have this container. It's 4 cups, so I'm going to put 6 cups of each. So there is 4 cups of each, so I'm going to fill this up one more time to get 6 cups. And that looks like a lot of liquid, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this go on a low simmer uncovered until it reduces down and the it gets a bigger richness. That doesn't sound right. It's more rich, the flavor. Also, we're going to add thyme, and I'm going to put a nice big full healthy tablespoon of thyme in. And so that is our soup. So now I'm going to let it, just like I said, simmer until it reduces by about at least a fourth. And when that's reduced, we'll come back and I'll let you see it, and I'll have a taste of it. Hey y'all, I need to finish up the recipe for the French onion soup. I have no idea what happened to the part at the end where I tasted it and all that, but you did get to see the most important part of the video. I did let it simmer and boil down, or simmer down to about 2/3 of what it was. It was very, very good and rich, and just a very good soup. If you watch my video on the roast that I'm making, I use it in that, and you can see the finished soup in that. There's just not really much to say except that it just really turned out good, and letting it simmer and some of it evaporate and it go down in size really does help the flavor on anything become stronger and mix better and all that stuff. So anyway, I apologize for that happening to the video, but I still wanted you to be able to see the soup being made. So with that said, have a wonderful evening, and I will see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.